I'm shocked. Right before I found out about Ruth Bader Ginsburg dying, you had me on some current where I was supposed to believe I was talking with Palestinian women. And you do this very frequently. Why would you murder Ruth Bader Ginsburg and then try to tell me I was supposed to deal with the fact that I owe something to the Palestinians? What it tells me is you've got profiles on presidential accounts and you want a dead Jew. It's pretty much that simple. Now, here's the question. Are you these little jackasses here in Texas that have been doing their little kind of like ultra nationalist, like they are entitled to just act like they can murder people at whim because the Texas Old Boy Network's been doing this for a long time? And they've got the NDI and they have all that shit rec set up and they have whatever fucking Perry's doing. And both, John and Ted are completely irresponsible. And then you got Jim doing his little fucking Swiss bank account diversions. And nobody's called any of these Texas assholes out. And they're routinely calling hits on people. And Ruth, she's old. She's like in her 80s, just like all of the diamonds you strategically allow them to take out. Yeah, they're old. And when you get a younger guy, well, I mean, nobody's going to take that seriously. Any more seriously than they're going to take two Supreme Court justices in 5 years. They fucking knocked off two Supreme Court justices in 5 years. Now, am I supposed to feel like somehow that I was supposed to be her, and by virtue of her getting killed, that somehow they won some case? Well, see, that's not the point, because I understand what you wanted was Jewish blood. The real Jewish blood. Not me. I'm fake. I'm like, I lied or something else happened. I was just bonded that way. Right? All that other shit, I was just bonded that way. What you wanted was Rabinowitz. That's what you were gunning for. That's what you were aiming for on the 14th. You wanted Rabinowitz. And I called for that court martial because those jackasses wanted to play their little fucking Twitter war using a dead a woman from the military, without anybody taking into account how they strategically engaged in acts of genetic engineering involving members of the military and people that were arrested for being narco terrorists and were pending deportation in Texas. So somebody succeeded today after a nuclear default in connection with Iran because they wanted to pretend, Texas wanted to pretend it was Iran. Texas wanted to pretend it was Iran to set up that deal on the school children, and then they were going to swap it out. And what were they going to get? What were they going to get? Because really, the way I see this is that the target was those 44 guys that backed up Ted Cruz, or at least the 43 that backed him up that day, that wanted to run a bunch of lines of credit on members of the military. Okay? That was the indictment. But they're so diabolical and they're so beyond being held accountable, they literally got Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Is that what I'm supposed to understand? Is that fair? Did they prove some claim? Because what they proved is that so far they've been able to get away with murder in a completely disgusting, anti-Irish and anti-Semitic fucking scheme that nobody stopped, including Irish people and Irish Americans, and including Jews, including Jewish Americans. Nobody calls them out when they play their disgusting little Ku Klux Klan games. Nobody calls them out. And you let them play this game where they were going to set up a whole bunch of children, hoping they were just going to swap them out, and it was going to be somebody else's children that were going to die. In the meantime, there's supposed to be adults involved. You wanted Rabinowitz. You got Ginsburg. You literally wanted to murder a fucking Jew, because ultimately that's what you wanted. You were going to keep playing this because what you want is you want a dead Jew, and you got like pretty much what? You got pretty much the most high profile dead fucking Jew in America. Did they succeed? Is this a victory? Who's going to get elected president on this? Is anybody going to call it out for what it actually fucking is? Anybody? Anybody?